Hi everyone, it's me again. For those of you who don't know me and those of you who do, I am Patty Axelrod, aka One Crazy Bitch, aka Me, Myself, and I. And I want to be your congresswoman. I think that I have so much experience in just life in general and the things that I dealt with that I could teach you how and what I've done. Not teach you, I can show you. There's a big difference between teaching and showing. And first off, before I say anything else, welcome to my version of True American Greed. And everything you learn on my little series that I'm doing on why I think I should be your congresswoman is my own experiences, my own opinions, what I feel and how I feel. Nothing is legal advice. It's all just information on what I have done and how I have managed to fight the system. We have to stick together, people. We have to fight the system, and everybody needs to start telling people what we're doing to protect ourselves. So, here we go. First off, everybody needs to have a living trust. This is my death book. It is very, very important to have this death book. In my death book, it has everything. It has the pictures. It has my financial statements. It has everything. My funeral is paid for. Everything and anything you need, my death book has. This book has everything that my children are going to need, who to contact, what to do, so that they don't have to deal with the grief. The reason I decided to take care of everything is because I wrote a book. And I wrote a book on probate, and it's called I'm the Heir. That's why. It's a book about what can and will happen to you if you don't have your affairs in order. So I went crazy, and I got all my affairs in order before I died. This is my book. I plan on publishing my book. I don't have the picture and everything. I just finished my book. So I'm really proud of myself. This has been like years. Here's my dad's will. Here's my motion. Here's Shane's motion. Here's the attorney's motion. I mean, there's so many things. And then we get to my book. The green part is my book. See my book. And my book tells my story of 3.5 years in probate and how crooked the probate system really is and what can and will happen to your loved ones if your stuff isn't in order. It has to be in order, because if not, you will see by the time I introduce my book that the people in charge of my book basically failed their fiduciary duty to my dad's estate with gross negligence. So you will get to that, and it's very important. This is my big thing, is my book. Who else am I, and what else am I all about? Well, I like to keep busy, basically. I am also an inventor. I invented a lice invention. And my lice invention doesn't have to have harsh chemicals or anything that the FDA would have to approve. Anybody interested in a non-chemical lice invention that I invented and want to invest, let me know. So then another thing that I've done in my life is I'm a business owner. I own One Crazy Bitch Incorporated. I am the original One Crazy Bitch. This is my logo. My slogan is loyal to those loyal to me. All of that is mine. So everybody can use it if they want, but I've got all of it down. It is mine. So I wrote a book, and then I started an independent clothing line, and I went out as a vendor, and I told people my story, and I told people that I was writing a book, and I went crazy for a while, and I just introduced my story to the world, because as a book, nobody was interested. It was like, oh, probate, who cares, it didn't happen to us, blah, blah, blah. But as One Crazy Bitch, an independent clothing line, a lot of people were interested, and I ended up meeting an awful lot of friends that I'm truly grateful that I met. I wouldn't have never done it if I didn't start my own company. I do have my own company. But having my own company, when I first started my own company in 2007, I tried to get the domain name One Crazy Bitch. Well, at that time, it was a girl in New Jersey, I believe, had it. She had short hair and whatever. So I had put my money on GoDaddy with my Wells Fargo account to hold the name One Crazy Bitch if this girl never renewed her name. In the meantime, they have my money. They still have my money. That is why GoDaddy is probably so rich, in my opinion. If they kept my money, how many other people's money did they keep? But anyway, with this GoDaddy thing, I was under the impression that I would get the domain name. And then after the domain name was up and everything, a couple months later, I emailed them, and I found out that putting money on a name, a domain name, doesn't necessarily mean that you get it. You put the money on it to reserve the right to bid on it, I believe is how it goes. Don't get me, saying that everything is the way that it is. I believe that's how it goes. I don't want to get in trouble, but if anybody else has the same story as me, bring it out there. This also shows all of my originals for my clothing company. Everything. From the beginning, everything. So this is, I am a business owner. I owe taxes. Why do I owe taxes? Because all these people you're going to find out owe me money. And nobody wants to pay me my money, but everybody wants their money from me. Also, when the pharmaceutical companies, I don't know, but I'm not very big on the pharmaceutical companies because this is my sister. My sister's name was Linda. The pharmaceutical companies had my sister so strung out on 16 to 20 downers a day, Percocet, Xanax, Prozac, everything. They made my sister a drug addict. And then once my sister was a drug addict and the government started regulating everything, they cut my sister off because she's now a drug addict. So they cut my sister off, and my sister ended up killing herself. I don't know about any of you guys, but are you watching the commercials that says if you took this, or this, you better start stroking your forehead? Well, anyway, I don't take any medicines. I don't believe in medicines. I'm more natural than anything. I don't even really take aspirin. So that's another thing I would want to get into is the pharmaceutical companies. I mean, our government is making so much money on us and ripping us off and doing all of this stuff to us, and nobody seems to care. Not Mary Bono, because I can tell you on April 25th, I wrote Mary Bono about a situation that's going on here. And I live exactly 2 blocks from Mary Bono's office. And I have still yet to get a letter, phone call, anything from Mary Bono, because Mary Bono doesn't do anything. And if you guys think I'm crazy and you shouldn't vote for me, I'm all good with that. But let's get Mary Bono out of the office, because she does not care about us in California. Another thing that I'm kind of sick of, and I don't know if you guys are, but this was my sister-in-law Leah. My sister-in-law Leah worked her butt off. She worked for the Forge, she worked for the Firestone, she worked her whole life. When my sister Leah got cancer, they had to fill out a thing for disability, and you know where they say you have so many weeks to live or months to live or whatever. Disability made sure that my sister-in-law's stuff didn't come up until after she died. She didn't get her disability in September when she first got sick. No. She died in February, and her disability didn't even come up till March. That is something that I think needs to be addressed. We have all these sick people that are being ripped off and burned, and I have a niece who I'm going to cover her stuff. She has cancer for the 2nd time in 2 years, and she's been on a couple of websites, and what do? They take the money that her loved ones and her friends are putting in there so that she can have help and so that she could survive. And these money greedy, hungry people, all of them, are burning people like you and me. And that's why I think you should watch my series on YouTube, True American Greed by Patty. So, thank you for listening, and when it comes to voting, remember, I am the woman you want in Congress.